So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our viewers of Groundbreakers. In 2025, today we have Philippe join us for our episode. Philippe has a extensive past in and present in geotechnical instrumentation and monitoring, especially in the civil engineering mining area. And right now, he's working at Santiago Cintra, but he's also worked at companies like CDG Brazil. So today we're going to learn about the Brazilian market, Felipe's perspective and experiences of working in Brazil, and also a lot on his take on where the industry is going, where technology is going, and a little bit on UAVs, drones, AI, and fiber optics, and also traditional instrumentation. So, Felipe, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this invite, and I hope I can contribute, leave my contribution here.
Awesome. So, let's start. So, your experience spans a lot. You've been in this field for many years, probably more than I've been on Earth for. So, what sparked your interest in dam safety, geotechnical engineering, and how has it shaped your journey so far?
Honestly, I didn't plan my career. I just kept walking through the doors that they opened for me. My interest in geotechnical started during university when I was part of a research project measuring vertical displacement into building construction. It's why my first hands-on experience with monitoring, and I love it. We are talking about the 2010. Uh, After graduation, I did my graduation in 2013. I
Hmm.
started to work on the construction of a Rio de Janeiro subway line for South between Copacabana and Gávea. It is an amazing city. Have you been
Hmm.
there?
No, I have not. No, I have not. One day
It's,
I
it,
will visit for sure.
I remember it was my first job as engineer, as a trainee engineer, but my friends was in the countryside and I was in the close to the beach. So
Wow.
is I can say I am lucky. And a big turn point for came when the tunnel collapsed during
Hmm.
construction. This occurred 2014. I was
Hmm.
just a trainee at the time, and my boss was in Portugal. So I
Oh,
had to
wow.
set up and I coordinate the consultants, analyze the monitoring data, and manage to defend the interest of our company. Because in this time I was working Biroj project, was a group
Hmm.
of Tuxud, and we know, when we are in the instrumentation, production
Hmm.
is the the big guys. We don't have
Yeah.
space even in the lunchtime. Just
Hmm.
what time we can lunch is not the best time, but
Hmm.
when they have a collapse, everyone giving what happened, and I had flagged potential risk 1 day before
Hmm.
the collapse. Thankfully,
Wow.
no one was hurt, and it's taught me how important monitoring is. That
Hmm.
experience got me promoted as a full engineer and solidify my interest in this field.
Hmm.
Later on, after the Brumadinho Dam disaster, Brumadinho Dams.
In
Uh,
Brazil,
yeah,
again. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the biggest disaster. We lost 272 people, and
Wow.
but we opened the market, and I felt proud to working on dam safety
Hmm.
system at CTG Brazil. I got involved with automating instrumentation
Hmm.
because we have a great experience with construction of the dam in Brazil.
Hmm.
We, for example, a filter, horizontal filter of sand, we
Hmm.
developed in Brazil, the engineer of Brazil. And we can say even when I was working CTG, China Tree Gorges, they
Yeah.
came here and bring the consultants that build in Itaipu to help
Hmm.
them. So we have a great experience with these guys, but the part of technology automation is a thing we need to work on. But with this crisis, we can we can develop it faster. And this
Hmm.
experience have shaped my passion to solve the infrastructure challenge with technology, solve a real world problem. I think this is a great thing. I like to say the instrumentation is the lab of real
Hmm.
scale, one to one. I some guys like do this lab, né? And we do this with instrumentation in the real world, in the real construction. And I think that is really think that you can improve and not just, how can I say, just for safety, but
Hmm.
to prove the parameters of the project
Yeah.
and save money too. I one question that always I think we need to do change the mentality and
Hmm.
the cultural shift that monitoring can help us optimize the structure and
Yeah.
save money in the end of the year. Né? Even during the construction phase, because
Hmm.
even in this example that I sent a mail one day
Yeah.
before, the working in construction of subway
Hmm.
in Rio de Janeiro stopped more than 4 months. So this
It
is
is. It is tough, and I think both experiences, the fact that an alert was found when a tunnel was about to collapse, and then we hear stories of dam failures, tailings that really impact, I think, the community. So I do agree that, I mean, you had actual experiences that shape you and your passion for it, but for the world also, I feel that these tools are literally as important as the Apple Watch we wear or the thermometer we use to monitor ourselves because they do help you understand the safety of the projects, but also for construction companies save cost. Like you said, and even in when you're dewatering, etc., you have to know what's happening. Otherwise, you have to pause construction. And you can also sometimes say, "This is my design. The monitoring is actually telling me this, and I can actually optimize my design for lower cost." So it's a lot of interesting things you could do with instrumentation beyond just safety.
uh, I have read a chapter from the name of the book is High Buildings from Professor Paulus. You know them? Do
No,
you
I
know?
don't. No, 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 no.
He is he's a consultant,
Hmm.
international consultant, very famous in Brazil, and he have a chapter explain about that and the importance of
Hmm.
monitoring to even to many times after the construction.
Yeah.
So you have
You have a
uh,
big variety. And I also feel like today, like we're not even monitoring 80% or 90% of the infrastructure out in the world. It's just if it's in a spec of a large project or if the consultants say, now you need to monitor. So that
yeah.
need never really comes out. So I think moving forward, like you mentioned a few gaps and you've seen how the technology is there, the scope is there, your passion. But where do you see this market in Brazil going specifically? Being there, living there, understanding the needs of the people and the country. How do you see the market moving?
Right now, mine sector in Brazil is booming. We are seeing huge investment in monitoring and safe systems, but the other sectors like infrastructure are lagging behind. The truth is, we often wait for something to go wrong before you take action. Even in the energy sector, if you do a research, we we have developed this engineer after Euclides da Cunha, HPP collapsed too. So we often wait for example, our building codes require vertical displacement monitoring for the high buildings, more than
Hmm.
55 meters. But
Okay.
there is a little enforcement of that.
Hmm.
And we need to force the government to push in and the sector because we can see this commodity, they have money to invest this. And we already seen how can optimize even the production of the caves with the stockpiles now. And we are leading this new legislation about this, the new law about stockpiles. So we, in the past, in the last 6 years, we are surf the wave of dams. Now we are talking about stockpiles and the new law. The idea is mirror the same technology, but always after a disaster, we have one 2022 of the stockpile break, and a problem in a great highway here. After recent bridge collapse, there is a growing movement to prioritize safety and adopt the technology. We need a strong law and enforcement, but also a cultural shift that we talked previously to see
Hmm.
monitoring and as investment,
Yeah.
not just a cost. Uh, I think this is a shift that we are need to work. You know? Now,
Yeah.
at Santiago Cintra, like focus more a commercial guy. I sometimes what you want to sell is not what they want to buy, but
Hmm.
everyone wants save it to be uh, more veil, and
Yeah.
this is a this can, we cannot give a price of this, né?
You can't. You can't. And I also think that like what you said, like mines are booming, dams are moving, but things like stockpiles are also so important to monitor. And people need to move from reactive to proactive. Like in so many places in the world where like our bridge collapsed, let's monitor the bridge and cool. For 2 years, people will start monitoring old assets, and then they'll get back to, yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter. If a bridge breaks, we can build another one. But the point is that a bridge impacts the day-to-day lives of people, the economies of a country, and even
Yeah.
the environment around it. So there's a lot more to just having the investment to build more. And then to build a bridge takes time. And monitoring could be pre-construction, during construction, and post-construction. So there's a whole life cycle of the asset that we can really add value to. And for $1 million of instruments, you could save a potential $10 billion collapse in a very, very big dam. So your
Yeah.
ROI is also high.
Even more, I think this to study better this payback that we need to I think is a work to do together, and they really
Hmm.
with the kind of guy like when do I like football and like what
Yeah,
contracted like pay millions for Neymar.
yeah,
He can see the payback. Just sell the T-shirt. So
yeah.
even this collapsing this bridge in Brazil is a big river. And now
Hmm.
I was reading the we need the road of
Mm,
the highway
yeah.
at like 200 kilometers. So it's
Wow.
insane because
It's
it's between
insane.
two states.
And you're building so much more for that. And then again, the climate impact of construction comes in. So, I mean, I feel like also like in our industry, when we sell, now there's LoRa. But LoRa is such a basic technology. Now we have AI. Now we have drones. But I feel like if we start selling that return of investment and the actual value that, okay, if you monitor this bridge and it doesn't collapse, you don't have to build a 200-kilometer highway to solve your problem. Like, if you tell that to the guy, he'd be like, okay, yeah, maybe now I should monitor.
I try. We are like community, technical community, try to push in the government, and now in the building codes and the highway codes, they have a public calls. So we try to push in this,
Hmm.
and yeah,
I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of change because people are also realizing the importance, but it's also becoming easily accessible information. And now today you don't have to carry that heavy inclinometer system on your shoulder and take it to the site. You can just install like a IPI or a shape array or a geo profile with a data logger that sends it to your cloud, view your graph, do your analysis, enhance it with some machine learning to say, okay, this is the movement. In a few months, it'll move this way. And in a few months, it might breach the alert or tell you, okay, there's some outliers on this area. So I feel like today technology is really entering our industry too as well. But we also see so many people still on Excel, which is the reality as well.
yeah. And when talk about this technology, we know they are complementary. For example, you have replaced the Doppler radar with the chute meters,
Hmm.
but they are different approach, each
Yeah.
with their strength and weakness. Uh, but personally, I like to keep things simple. For
Hmm.
example, I see probably slope of dam, highway, and whatever. They have sometimes they have tilt meters, they have a total
Yeah.
robotic station, but even one inclinometer. We cannot forget the basic of engineer to
Yeah.
measure horizontal displacement and surface failure is
You cannot use a
necessary.
tilt. A tilt meter cannot measure everything, and that's what I don't.
Yeah,
Even on a rail track, like you see on LinkedIn, rail track monitored by a tilt meter, like theoretically, it does not make sense. You still need the serving points to make sure you have a zero gradient, or you need a beam. So I guess
yeah,
people are also selling for the sake of selling, but that is the world. But it's not
yeah.
correct.
How can our our father of the monitor said, and Dan Cliff is worse than not measuring is measuring correctly. Né?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
and you see this way to sell something that is not in using. My boss, I really appreciate this. He teach me. We
yeah,
just we not just sell. We need to teach him how to use, even
yeah,
if the client don't pay the training, because the worst thing is the client pay and not use. It's not work here.
yeah.
I I have a friend who work with a shape array, and he did a sell and try to explain. The worst thing is this, and because
Hmm.
we need to explain and we need to use how.
Yeah. And it's not normal stuff, right? Like it's not your Amazon ring. This you're really trying to monitor the movement of the earth or the ground or the soil. And of course, there's many ways to do it. You have InSAR, you have drones, you have laser scanners, you have instrumentation, you have fiber optics, and you need to give the right combination of that. It's not only about a tilt meter that'll do everything. It's not only about a drone that will do everything. Because how often can you fly a drone? And it's also not about LoRa or Zigbee or Bluetooth. It's really about sending that data in a way that's reliable. And now there's Starlink, which makes it even better. But you can't build a whole sales pitch and impact an industry because Starlink gives you satellite data, but sometimes for high-speed dynamic data logging, you still need that Ethernet cable.
Yeah. I have the experience to work with the DOI 305 of the Campbell, and we
Hmm.
are you know that it's like
No,
more than
no.
300 reading
Hmm.
per second, and yeah, we need the energy. Each
Yeah,
project is unique, and this is the good thing of the soil mechanic. And I went to study
yeah,
geotechnical. We cannot just do and repeat. I think
yeah.
uh, I think this is
The
a thing that
ground
you need to
is,
explore. And
yeah. No, go ahead, sorry.
no,
No,
go
I was just
go go.
saying, no, I was saying the ground is never the same in any place. That's the biggest challenge. You don't have the same ground conditions anywhere in the world. So yeah, so let's move forward. So I see you work a lot with UAVs, a little bit with wireless systems with InSAR. So, what technologies do you have you seen have the greatest impact on dams, especially, but also your other industries? Like, which technologies came and were like the Google moments in our industry?
Regarding new technology, I believe geospatial advancement like UAV and InSAR are
Hmm.
making significant impact. This
Hmm.
tool us to analyze and inspect 100 of the data.
Wow.
When I was in CTG, I was responsible for the inspection. That is mandatory for a law in Brazil. We need to do even each six
Hmm.
months, even
Hmm.
each uh, every uh, each 6 months, 12 months. I
Hmm.
analyzed the data and went on site to take pictures and document
Wow.
areas of concern. But this is always done by sampling. Yeah,
Yeah.
we cannot cover 100%, but
Hmm.
we can achieve full area coverage if make our assessment for more accurate and safe with this technology. I really, I now we are working with Striles too,
Hmm.
company from US, and they bring this idea né, for mine sector to do this complete area. I think this is one thing that you need to push in even the photo monitoring. And I like the way to do with we already have this technology, like a simple camera, a dual camera, we can take a
Yeah.
picture and comparing these data. I think this is in the end of the day, we know money move the the project,
Yeah.
and we need to think this in mind. And about this, bringing this out technology, I think you are doing a great job with Procure, but put
Hmm.
everyone in the same screen and you can have a holistic way. And this
Yeah.
word I think is the best word because sometimes I have a client, they spend because they need to spend sometimes in a big company, they need to
Yeah.
spend even this budgeting in this year, but they pay attention just in one instrument, just the one way. No, no,
Yeah.
we have another word. But I think this opportunity, because now my boss is a survey engineer, and I can see the geospatial and geotechnical bring the same word
Yeah.
and are complementary and really complementing the way to you can see different.
Mm. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And I think even for us as a group, we're more of a technology company. We do services in the Middle East and India and now a bit in Europe and the US. But for us, we been selling instruments for a long, long time on some of the craziest projects in the world. But now we have Procure, which is a scalable platform that works with anyone's data. And now we're building the same thing for remote sensing, which I feel we're going to release in a couple of months, which will be very, very disruptive because we're taking a very unique approach where you don't need to spend 50,000 euros to do InSAR on a dam like you see quotes right now. The whole idea is how do we take it lower and scale it? And then the same thing with IoT. Today, in the next, I think this year we're going to release that core product line where the whole idea is that it doesn't matter what wireless technology you're using or which cable you're using or satellite or GSM. What really matters is sending the data from the sensor to the cloud or to your on-premise platform. And what we're really trying to work is with flexibility and machine learning. So the whole idea is that whatever we're building today, even if it's something as small as GeoHub, it has to be scalable and it has to make the lives of engineers easy. Today, we live in
Yeah,
a world of TikTok and ChatGPT. We don't have the time to go and press buttons to install a data logger. We don't have
yeah,
time to click on 1,000 graphs. We don't have time to look at, this dam has movement. We live in a world of intelligence, and we need to be able to either work ease faster and better, and actually do what matters is see, okay, if there's a change in trend at X instrument on X site, or with InSAR on this dam, or with a drone flight from X day to that day, we go to the consultant or the asset owner or the construction company, be like, there's a problem, how do we solve it?
yeah. Even we need to be easy and fast because it never just one man make a decision, right? So we
Yeah,
need to have a technical guy and he explain for his boss and we have a scale the information. So yeah, we need to.
we need to do a lot. And I feel like then there will be a lot of disruption coming from a lot of people in this industry as we go forward because people are more aware now and, and people are building with the vision of the tech industry more than civil engineers building civil engineering solutions, which I feel is pretty interesting and cool. So yeah,
I
so we've
agree.
dived into UAVs, we've dived into cameras, we've talked about software. The buzzword today is AI, and you mentioned that you're an AI enthusiast. So where do you see it being leveraged in geotechnical monitoring and dam safety? And do you have any examples where you've used it? But if you haven't, then where do you see it going from now to the next few years?
I I don't have. I'm enthusiastic of this. This, but I don't have a really experience in this area.
Hmm.
I can see the great thing and blame me when I see some engineers say, this is because of the water, nature, and we can design projects for withstand with this.
Yeah.
And the idea is to do prediction. Even if you need the evacuation area, we need to optimize infrastructure. I think this
Hmm.
is the gold rush that we are living.
Yeah.
If you can prediction rain, you have a crystal ball of infrastructure that you can save and you can. I think this is the idea that we need to improve a lot because
Yeah.
I was watching a documentary that for monitoring rain, big rain, the guys go in the middle of the hurricane, in the eye of the hurricane, to to install some sensors. That's crazy,
Hmm.
né? But sometimes we need to install. We need to go
Yeah.
there. We need to do this remote. And that example that I said that I did a
Hmm.
monitoring with more than 300 reading per second was this. We cannot go to this dam because they are in high level of emergency.
Yeah.
We call this. So the guy go buy a cable line, a cable to save his life in, just in case it's
Wow.
collapsed the dam
Yeah.
to install this. And like UAV and a drone, this
Yeah.
is growing and learn more. But
Hmm.
when talk about AI and machine learning, always I think we need to think that AI is good, of course, and we have an expert of each area, and you can be the my wife is a doctor. Sometimes let me check if you are doing the right thing to me. But this is really great.
This is great. Yeah.
And but AI plus a well trained professional is always better than AI alone.
Yeah.
I think we need to learn how to growing and being better and being. And now we are living the AI from China, né?
Yeah. DeepSeek. DeepSeak, the new buzzword. Yeah.
the UCO we need. And I think this you are doing a great work with in cardio too, because we need to do this accessible. Even in
Hmm.
Brazil, that we don't have dollar here, we have real. So we
Yeah.
need to. That's necessary. So
Hmm.
we need to do the like DeepSeek. I think in monitoring sector we are doing this job and necessary always optimize our process, internal process to do this and to be accessible even a small bridge because no, they are lives too. They are a little.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And two insights I'm taking back. One is forecasting. For years, Instagram has been able to predict which post you want to see on Facebook, YouTube. And today, with the right data and the right quality of data, because first in a machine learning model, you have to do a data quality model. So you see the quality of the data, then you clean the data, and then you
Outliers.
can forecast it. Yeah, outliers, and then you forecast. So today, imagine you can go to your 100 dams that you're monitoring in Brazil and be like, you know what, we're putting a forecasting model. Now, all you need to know is that, okay, this dam out of your 100 is one you need to look at. Look at the pieces and look at the pressure in this section of the dam. If we reach that level of intelligence where we don't even need generative AI, where we need machine learning models, which have been used in other industries for decades, and they're only becoming better, it'll be game changing. And then with Gen AI, like human plus AI, we reach that singularity. You can do so much more. Like, why would you want to make a report? Like, you automate the report and then you ask ChatGPT to literally analyze the graphs for you and it'll do a very good job of it. So yeah, there's a lot coming, a lot going, and I think we've covered a lot of technology. So let's move on to your ideal monitored world. For you, what is the ideal world for monitoring? What would it look like? And how close do you think we are to achieving this vision of yours?
Uh, how do you say like an ideal perfect monitoring
Yeah,
world?
the perfect monitoring world for dam safety or monitoring of stockpiles. What does it look like for you, and where do you think we are in that vision?
I am happy it does exist and will never happen. Let me explain. I believe that only God is perfect, and
Yeah,
perfection means something that cannot be improved.
true.
As human, we are always learning, evolving, and expand our understanding of soil mechanics, design,
Hmm.
and monitoring system. The
Hmm.
idea of perfect is unrealistic because we always be a room for improvement and
Hmm.
innovation. The great achievement is recognize this. I think so.
Yeah.
And always we have better ways to do things. And this is
Hmm.
one hard, for example, now we are talking about life infrastructure sector in Brazil. They they have tilt meters in each buildings close the construction of the tunnel, but I have already been go with the manual reader, they are paper, and after typing in in PC. So that one thing that you need to move on
Look
and
at.
press because the technology are already there.
Yeah.
And I I think the opportunity to learn with other sectors like oil is we can bring some things, but I think this is the concern.
Hmm.
Even not just with the engineers, the data analysts, but even with the local communities, we have always to learn. We have always to do different, and I think we cannot be afraid of this because
Yeah.
I feel this feeling. Ah, no, we are doing this. We working in the it was
Yeah.
the biggest city in South America, so have kilometers of metro here. It's not necessary uh,
Hmm.
spend money with this. And I say, oh, okay, but it's not just spend money and you have a lobby, a lobby
Yeah.
to sell men's
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
So I think technology, we need to explain this. Oh, if you not learn, if you're not keeping and how to do a better your job, I think that when I look about the past and you need to learn that the new jobs are great. And if you're not
Yeah.
like now, I am civil engineer, but I study hard about automation and
Hmm.
programming. We need to keep learning, and I think this is the key of the perfect world. We never achieve that, but this is our goal. This is our goal, and of course, monitor the perfect can be an investment can
Hmm.
can have a good payback.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's beautifully summed up. We might not have the perfect world, but we need monitoring literacy for all. We need to educate people. People need to learn. People need to upskill. The need will never change. You need to monitor them. The how could change. You could go from the cameras to the scale crack meters to InSAR. That doesn't matter. That's secondary. But the need is always
Yeah,
there. You could go from Excel to Procure to ChatGPT. Or procure with ChatGPT, which would be even cooler. But yeah, but you still need to visualize that data somehow. You can go from text message alarms to email alarms. But yeah, I think you summed it up really well. People need to learn, educate, upskill, and really take this industry forward as a community more than a sales pitch.
even normally we do a back analysis to do this,
Hmm.
but with the AI, I think you can faster and do this even during the construction of each
Hmm.
structure. And I think it's a big step that we are living now
Yeah.
to change the project, to change the design, and we improve that with
Hmm.
safety, of course. Because sometimes we see this improve with not the technical issues and not
Yeah.
respecting
Hmm.
the good practice.
Yep. And I think I agree. We have to respect the good practice, and even if it's a little bit more work, it's worth doing it. We do it for our own companies. There's things
Is
we
that
work on every day when we don't like to do, but we do it.
if, even if you need to expend more money, is always cheaper than rebuilding, né?
Yeah, yeah, always. I think spend more, rebuild less could be like a code. So yeah, so I think now summing up, I think it's been a pleasure to have you here, and we've gone through the market in Brazil, your experiences, what really made you do what you do today. But there's so many young civil engineers in the world or young people who would be like, what is monitoring? What's a tilt meter? So what would your advice be to the next generation, especially in your country who are interested in this field to like, or how would you spark interest in this field? What would your take be to the community?
Ah, of course, we all know the cliche. Study hard, improve your hard skills, and work on your
Hmm.
soft skills. But in today's world, with platforms like LinkedIn, we have a unique opportunity to connect directly with companies and experts. For example, I don't know if you remember, but I was reading our chat in
Yeah.
LinkedIn. We
Yeah.
started out because I sent you a message to learn more about Proc.
Yeah.
Encard, like many other manufacturers, provides excellent free results. So it's a
Yeah.
manuals, data sheet, and papers.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
are these are available for learning. Additionally, most companies are open to direct consultants. They are
Yeah.
happy to explain how to install and configure their
Yeah.
products. I think this is a great way for young engineers to not only connect, not just young engineer for me, for
Any
everyone,
engineer.
uh,
Yeah.
any engineer to connect with key people in the industry, but also to learn from them. And
So
yeah,
connect, communicate, and grow and learn.
and,
I
and
think that
directly,
sums up the past. Yeah. Go ahead.
if I send a message, oh, how to install it, I already read your manual about the inclinometer.
Yeah.
Now I was talking with David about that. Oh, I already read, but I have a doubt here. May you? And the answers
Yeah.
always the company, the manufacturers are interested in this, né? This
Yeah.
relation because it's a long-term relationship,
Yeah.
and I
And it's
think
not
this is a
and it's not installing a Amazon ring, which is just one button. It's something way more complicated than that. Yeah. Awesome. So, Felipe, thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure recording with you. And I think I learned a lot. I learned about the market. I learned about those two experiences, the tunnel monitoring alert that he sent an email about, and the dam collapsing. And the stockpiles with the 200-kilometer highway. So, three lessons. And I think those three lessons can be very, very inspiring onto why to monitor and enhance literacy for monitoring for all. So, thank you so much.
thank you for having me, and I see you.
Yeah, thank you.